Have you ever felt cheated out of your childhood? Have you ever felt that your parents never really heard your side of the story? That your parents questioned whether things happened? That they would never admit that they're wrong? They never apologized? All of these are signs of gaslighting parents. I've talked a lot about gaslighting in relationships, and I've talked about emotionally abusive parents. But there is a little place in between for gaslighting parents. So this video is going to be about the signs of gaslighting parents, how to deal with it, and of course, stick with me to the end of this video for both parents and children watching, well, adult children, hopefully not children, that I'll explain to you how compliments actually can be a form of gaslighting. Welcome back. If you are new here, welcome to the G-Spot, aka the gaslighting spot. This is a safe place where we talk about gaslighting, common experiences, thoughts, emotions. If you haven't already, make sure to join my Facebook group, the G-Spot, where we share our stories. But today's video is going to be about the signs of gaslighting parents. And it also is going to be on how to deal with those gaslighting parents. If you have no idea who I am, my name is Olympia, and with my studies in cognitive neuroscience and art history, what I like to do, I like to dissect that pretty little brain of yours to see what makes you tick, but also what makes you talk. So if you haven't already, please help a girl out by smashing that subscribe button, ringing that bell for your weekly Thursday videos, and let's start. So one sign that you are a gaslighting parent, if you're watching this as a parent, or if you're wondering whether your parents are gaslighting you, is that they constantly question your version of the story. Now, it makes sense that when you hear a story, there are always two sides, and it makes sense that the parent will remember certain things in a certain way, and so will the child. But as a parent, your job is not to negate the child's story, side of the story completely. Okay, obviously, if the child is putting in fantasies and lying, you can point that out. But if they're expressing any feelings, if they're saying that their version of the events, hear them out, listen. Don't call them dramatic, crazy, that they're too sensitive, or basically just you just sticking to your version of the story. Obviously, your child is saying this for a reason. Obviously, they remember this for a reason. So kind of dig deep there. You're the parent here. So dig deep and see why your child remembers that story in that particular way. So another thing that gaslighting parents do, and that are very, very good at, is playing the victim. So they'll say things such as, I give you everything and you can't remember to blank. Pick up the dishes, clean your room, wash the car, pick up something from the supermarket. They will always play the victim card in order to control their children's reaction. They will even use their spouse as an example. They will say, oh, your mom always always nags me to do these things. Why can't you help me out? Or, oh, your father never listens to what I say. Now you're not listening too. So they will do the whole victimization, and they will play that perfectly. Another thing the gaslighting parents do, another sign of gaslighting parent, is that they're overly controlling. Now this is interesting because it falls into the victim card, that in cultures that are very close-knit, such as the Indian culture, the Greek culture, the Italian culture, they are masters at doing that. They overly control every aspect, usually, of their child's life. And I'm not stereotyping here, by the way. I'm just saying that it is the family dynamic of those cultures. Sometimes it's can very easily turn that parent into a gaslighting parent because of those behavioral traits, but not because of the culture itself, if that makes sense. Religion is another way gaslighting parents control their actions, by using the Bible or whatever God they believe in, saying that that's not what a good Christian would do. Parents that have moved to other countries. Now this is a very common gaslighting technique. They will turn around and be like, hey, I left my country to come to, let's say, America, to put the clothes on your back, to put a roof over your head, and this is how you're repaying me, or this is what you're doing, or this is what you're saying. So they're using the guilt and the victim card together. It's like a little card game. So they're playing the double card on you to remind you and to control how you're acting by making you feel guilty for everything they've sacrificed, which, by the way, you never asked them to do it, and it's great that they did it and they have a family because of it, but it should not be used against you, the child, as a way to control your behavior. Another sign of a gaslighting parent, and a parent that is also emotionally abusive, is very common. Like most people, refuse to apologize. Parents have this notion sometimes that they have to be like superheroes / authority figures / whatever to their children. And by apologizing, they believe that's weakness. That moment the child will realize that their parent is not perfect, and therefore they can take advantage of the parent, or they will lose that control, that authority they have over their child. Parents out there, that is the worst message you can give to your children. The power of apology, the power of saying sorry and actually meaning it and doing and performing certain actions to show that you're sorry, that is the biggest gift you can give to your children. Because that shows the other person that they can change. That shows that you are listening. That shows that you are capable of change, and it's not this cycle of abuse that goes on. By refusing to apologize and making the kid think that they're going crazy and that what they did was wrong, when in reality what you did was wrong, and you just don't want to apologize because you don't want to lose the authority. And falling into the idea of cultures and all that, gender gaslighting, the idea that boys shouldn't cry, the phrase man up, which I absolutely hate. So having a child crying for whatever reason, a little boy crying for whatever reason, and the gaslighting parents saying men don't cry, only little boys cry. You should not be crying. Or even simple phrases that may seem innocent, but long term they can affect a child's development and how they process certain thoughts and emotions. You're not cold, it's only in your mind. You're not hungry, you're not angry, you're just grouchy. You're tired, go to sleep. Now, these may seem so innocent, but if you're telling a child how to feel, especially from a young age, and a child, for example, is angry, but in reality, you're saying that you're not angry, you're just grouchy because you haven't slept well. Or when a child is alert and awake and you're saying you're tired, you need to sleep. Or you're not cold, you just woke up. I mean, if the child's cold, if he's cold, you're not going to question that. One other thing that I've talked about in my emotionally abusive parents video is the idea of creating competition with siblings. Now, gaslighting parents sometimes will single out a child and gaslight them, sometimes unintentionally, I want to believe. So they will, for example, say, why can't you be more like your brother who is more athletic? Why can't you be more like your sister who's better at math? And suddenly that child grows up under the shadow of their sibling, and they spend basically all their lives trying to match up with whatever their parents are comparing them to. Now, I told you in the beginning of this video, I'm going to explain to you how compliments can actually be a form of gaslighting. Now, I know you may think that this can be a complete exaggeration, and it is a good thing to praise your child. It is a good thing to say that, hey, you're smart, you're kind, you're empathetic, you're whatever you believe your child to be. But sometimes parents do this in a way to make their child better at something or to control their child's behavior. For example, you're good at math, you're the best at math, when in reality they're not. So the child is under this false pretense that they're supposed to be good at math because their parent believes they're good at math and will go to extreme lengths to please their parents. Now, I read somewhere that gaslighting can be compliments can be a form of gaslighting when you're denying the child's feelings, perspective of the situation. So by saying, for example, you are the best runner in the world, or you're the best runner at school, when in reality they're not the best runner at school. There is a kid out there that is better at them, or you're the best at math in your school, or you are the best student. No one does better than you at school. Now, I'm using school as an example here just because it's an easy thing we can all relate to. But by saying, for example, that your kid is the best at school when maybe they're not, or by saying that they're the best runner at school when they're not, or by saying that they are the best at math, which they're not. They're maybe even like the worst. You're putting this pressure on the child, and you're even gaslighting them in the sense that they don't know. They're very confused because they're thinking, well, if my parents tell me that I'm the best runner, then why is this other person running faster than me? If my parents say that I'm the best at math, then why does this person have better grades than me? And if this continues through life, then they start having false perceptions of what they can and what they can't do. They depend afterwards on their parents to tell them what they're good and what they're bad at, because from a young age, when their parents tell them that they're good at something and they see they're not, they don't trust their own judgment. So they become completely dependent, and then seek out codependent relationships because they can't trust what they're feeling and what they're thinking. So those are the few signs of gaslighting parents. I'm going to do a video on how to deal with gaslighting parents specifically. It's hard, especially as an adult, when you realize that your parents have been gaslighting you since a young age, because it's a dual battle. One, you have to try and get rid of that gaslighting spark, that G-force that has been following you around for the remaining of your life. Since the beginning of your life, since the beginning of your life, but also how to afterwards, after you've done the work for yourself, go back to your parents and try and build a healthy relationship. But the point is, you always have to remember to put yourself first. Even if it's family, it's hard, I know, but at the end of the day, if you can't maintain a healthy relationship with yourself, then it will be impossible to maintain a healthy relationship with someone else, including your parents. So, if this video helped, make sure to smash the subscribe button and ring that bell for your weekly Thursday videos. And of course, share this video with anyone who has gaslighting parents or who thinks they were gaslighted in their childhood. And that's it, folks.